Hey guys, it's Gus, and there is a very big misconception in Neverwinter. It's been around for years, I believe since Module 17 when they did the major combat rework. Please comment below if it wasn't Module 17. But this misconception has been stated for multiple years on every single platform in every single way possible. You've probably been told it multiple times. And that misconception is that green is good when it comes to your ratings. And that is absolutely not true. In this game, green equals red. If red is bad, green is bad. Green is not good. And I'm going to show you why. All red signifies is that you've wasted more damage potential than you would have if you were green. Both colors signify you are wasting your class's potential. And before Module 30, this wasn't as huge of a deal because most groups were overcapped in ratings if they were maximized. But now with Module 30 and the increase of power, combat advantage, and crit severity from 90% to 120%, which is a total stat increase of 90%, you can't afford to lose any ratings if you're trying to maximize your potential as a DPS. The same holds true if you're a healer and a tank or a tank. So when it comes to stats, you have two columns. I'm sorry, I'm going to cover this real quickly just in case you're new. You have two columns. You have your rating on the left and your total on the right. The total is commonly referred to as your stats. Your ratings contribute to your overall stats. Your ratings can only contribute to 60% of your power, combat advantage, and crit severity stats, and your ratings can contribute 50% to your accuracy and crit strike. So if it contributes 50% to crit strike and your cap is 90%, you have to get 40% from somewhere, and you're usually going to get that from bonuses, your companion equip bonuses, consumables, and equipment bonuses, or overloads, or wherever. But we're focusing on rating right now. If your rating or your stats are green, that means you've wasted stats. Right now, for example, my accuracy, my rating is not green, but my total is, which means I'm over the cap of 90%, which is bad. But this is not a build. Well, it is a build, but it is not a build I would ever run. This build is very unique. It took me multiple hours to make just for this video, and it's pure dog do. I got a Weaver bow on, a Mastercraft weapon on. I don't have an armor on. I'm missing overloads, even my weapon overload. I'm missing collars. I'm missing insignias. I don't have the companions that I ever run, but there's a reason I made this to get to the perfect number to show you. So when they made Module 30, they increased power, combat advantage, and crit severity by increasing the cap of your stat from 90% to 120%. When they did that, they also increased the rating that you could have. Previously, well, currently still for accuracy and crit strike, the most amount of stats you're going to get from your rating is your item level. So if your accuracy here in Module 30 is 81,717 and you have nothing for stats and accuracy, your accuracy will be 50%. The same could be said for power. If your power is at 81,717 plus the additional 10,000 we can get, your power would be at 60%. But it's really hard to do that because you'd have to have 0 forte or whatever. So I'm saying a lot of gibberish to probably a lot of people. But currently, if you want to have your maximum amount of rating for power, combat advantage, or crit severity, it can be 10,000 over your item level. My item level is 81,717. If you notice, my power is 91,600. 717. You don't even want to know how many hours and how much AD I spent making this today. Good God. But I did it for you so I can show you why green is bad. Right now, my rating for power cannot possibly give me one additional more damage. And I'm going to show you. So, if you notice one other thing, I have a very high, my crit's going to be overcapped and my accuracy is going to be overcapped. And the reason I did that is for testing. If your accuracy is capped, 50% of your hits will always be the same. But if it's capped, accuracy will never affect your damage output. It will always, even if the enemy deflects, it will still be capped max. And crit, I am gonna have it. It is at 90 when I have a enemy summoned, which means 90% of my hits will be crit. So that means 90% of every hit I do will be exactly the same. And I took off anything that had damage variable, right? So lightning increases your stats as you do more damage, as you hit 3 times. So I took that off, took off my chest piece. I took off anything that increases my stats or ratings as I do more hits. So when I summon this enemy right here, if you notice I'm in combat, my stats aren't changing whatsoever. And but my crit's going to be capped because I have on these boots. When you're engaged with one enemy, your crit goes up 7%. But my power is still exactly the same, 103.5. Oh, I'm not in combat. Just a sec. Why is it not? Oh, you know what? Because I forgot to put on this squash suit. So now, if you notice, my power and crit or accuracy and crit are still 90. They're overcapped, but that's okay for this. But my power will not change. It will be at 91,717, which is exactly 10,000 over my item level. It's very hard to do that, guys. It's very hard. Most of you will probably never see that in your gaming experience. It is very hard to hit that. You got to get extremely lucky. And my power will stay at 103.5. Let me show you. See, I'm doing all these hits. I'm doing all these hits. And look at 103.5, 91,717. So now that you can see that my damage is fixed, let me show you the damage. 90% of these hits will be exactly the same. And pardon my companion, it's doing a little bit of damage every once in a while, so don't mind that 65,061 damage right there, or that damage. Let's watch my damage, and I'm going to have two damage values. I'm going to have a crit and a non-crit. So 9 out of 10 hits will be exactly the same, so watch. So there was 16,084, or 16,840, whatever. 1684. You saw that, right? Doesn't change. 1684. 1684. Nothing's changing unless when I get a non-crit. It will be 1684 every single time until I get a non-crit. 1684 again. Hopefully you guys are getting the picture. You don't need ACT for this. You don't need to be on PC to see this. This is point blank. It does not change unless I get a non-crit. There you go. 9.44, right? So 16.8. Now, I'm going to increase my, remember, 91,717, 103.5. Now, watch me increase my power by exactly 1,000, right? Remember that number, though, 16.84. So now I'm going to increase my power. I'm going to use an invocation blessing. And I got to do it. There's the hammer. First try. So grants power and defense. 1,000 power, 1,000 defense. Look at this. My power just went up from 91,717 to 92,717. And you notice it's green, which for the years, the vast majority of Neverwinter has been telling players that green is good. Remember, watch this. 16.84. It is exactly the same. So I just increased my power by 1,000 and I'm green. And it does not increase my damage by one single damage point at all. Let me show you in the damage log where they don't round down. Rapid shot, 16,838. Let's scroll way up here. Before I did that, let's do, that's the companion. 16,838. Let's keep going. I'll show you some more. 16,838. It doesn't change. 16,838. So hopefully what you're taking from this is that green is not good. Green means you have wasted 1,000, potentially 1,000 ratings. And if you're green in power, accuracy, combat advantage, crit strike, and crit severity, you're potentially wasting 5,000 ratings. And I don't think it is possible in the current state of Module 30 in any way, shape, or form to waste 5,000 ratings as a DPS and say that you are good in endgame content. Does this matter for endgame content? Well, technically, no, because you can do every single dungeon in this game with at most two, or I'm sorry, at most with three players. We've done it with MDS, we've done it with MTOS, we've done it with MIC. Every dungeon can be ran with three players. But most dungeons are not that optimized. Most dungeons that are failing because of a damage shortcoming in the group. And that's usually a collective effort of so many people failing so many different ways. And one of those ways is because the misunderstanding of ratings and stats. And the common misconception that has been spread for years in Neverwinter is that green is good. Green in Neverwinter is the exact same as red. Red means that you're just over capped by more than you would be if you were green. For example, if I use a flask of potency here, now I'm going to be red because I just got 550 ratings added on to that 1,000 ratings I was over capped. Either way, I'm not doing any one single bit of damage more if I'm red or green. Red just means you're wasting more stats or more ratings than you would be if you were green. But uh, you don't need green to tell you what your rating is because it's your item level. Unless it's power, combat advantage, crit severity, and then it's your item level plus 10,000. So hopefully this showed you that your rating, any rating you are green, is wasted ratings. And I know a lot of my builds, like my last build, I was over by like 20 ratings. And sometimes it's just basically nearly impossible to maximize your build, not waste ratings. But most players I'm seeing are wasting 600 here, 800 here, 1500 here, 1200 here, 320 here. And that adds up huge. Because if you're 5% potential ratings you're wasting here, 5,000 ratings that you could be wasting here, can be put into like another tactician's precision or something else. So if you're trying to maximize your build as a DPS tanker healer and you have a single stat in green, it means you could improve your build more. And if everything's green, it means you're wasting a ton. I mean, a ton of ratings. So hopefully that helps clarify a little bit. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. If I did confuse you and you have a question, please comment below because there's a lot of people coming back to Neverwinter and a lot of new players, and we need to embrace them all and get them on board because we're going to be running dungeons with them. And we want everybody to do their role as best they can. But there you go. Stay class, Neverwinter. See you soon.